Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Nsah Mala. In today's episode of YouTube English with Nsah Mala, we shall be looking at a number of things, including the wrong use of which, the wrong use of both, confusions between being and been, having and haven't, and much more. So without further ado, I welcome you to this lesson. And here we go. We are starting with the wrong use of which. Some of the sentences I will be using today with wrong usages highlighted in red have been culled from everyday communication observed online and sometimes offline. So the first thing is to look at of which as used in this sentence. In sentence number 1 here, after a week, he started begging and sending people to beg me to come back, of which I refused. And this kind of usage is very, very common within our English, within Cameroonian English, which is wrong because you cannot say of which. So you refused the begging. You did not refuse of the begging. And that is why you would better say after a week, he started begging and sending people to beg me to come back, and I refused. When someone begs, you refuse the begging, and you don't refuse of the begging. So, and I refused. This would be a better option. Or you would say, after a week, he started begging and sending people to beg me to come back, but I refused. But I refused. Yeah. So, and this for me is the best option because actually the but announces contradiction. It announcing something that is contrary to the begging, because normally we expect that after the begging you accept, but because you don't accept, but for me it sounds like a stronger grammatical word to use here. But if you don't want to use but, you can use and. But remember that of which as used in this sentence is completely off track. It is wrong. Now look at some correct uses of the expression of which. It is actually called a relative clause, meaning that it relates, it is used in relation to a preceding clause. Clauses are like mini sentences. Let's not go into a lot of grammatical details here that might get complicated for some people to understand, but let's take it here that is a relative clause and is used in relation to something that has been said before it. And which is the relative pronoun, and of is a preposition placed at the beginning of the relative clause instead of at the end. So let's take a few examples. 1, she discovered so many spiders, of which she was most afraid. What was she afraid of? She was afraid of the spiders. We are afraid of. There is we say we are afraid of something. That is why this sentence is correct, because the of which here is a relative clause and it relates to the spiders that she discovered. And she is afraid of them. So she discovered so many spiders of which she was most afraid. So this means she was afraid of the spiders. Okay, good. Now in the second case, says, he answered all the listening and reading exercises of which the test mostly consisted. He answered all the listening and reading exercises of which the test mostly consisted. So the test consisted of what? Of listening and reading exercises. So in this case, it is correct usage. The third example says, the team won a silver medal of which they were very proud. Yeah, the team won a silver medal of which they were very proud, because we say we are proud of something. I am proud of something. You are proud of something. That is why of which is correct here. Okay. Now, we could also decide to place of at the end of the sentence, but many people prefer not to place prepositions at the end of sentences unless when it becomes absolutely unavoidable. So, but if you are one of those who think you can or prefer to put some prepositions at the end of your sentences, which is absolutely still correct, then those sentences we just read above could be rephrased as you see here. The first one will be, she discovered so many spiders, which she was most afraid of. Which she was most afraid of. So here of is at the end of the sentence. Then in the second case, he answered all the listening and reading exercises, which the test mostly consisted of. He answered all the listening and reading exercises, which the test mostly consisted of. And the third example will be, the team won a silver medal, which they were very proud of. The team won a silver medal, which they were very proud of. And then more examples of the correct usage of which. Now, you can write two sentences like this one here. There are many books in our school library. This is a sentence. I'm quite interested in two of them. These are two independent clauses. They're two independent clauses, meaning that they're two independent sentences. They stand alone and they are complete and they make complete meaning and sense. Yeah, but again, they are related because the interest is in two of them. Then what? Of many books in the school library. And so you can decide to merge these two independent clauses into one clause, into one sentence, which is a compound or a complex sentence. And there you could talk about, there are many books in our school library, two of which I am quite interested in. Two of which, of the many books, two of which I am quite interested in. Now, two other sentences which we can merge using of which. Yesterday, my friend and I caught a lot of fish. The biggest of them was 200 pounds, or 20 pounds, sorry. The biggest of them was 20 pounds. But now we can decide to merge these two independent clauses or these two clauses into one sentence as a complex sentence. And in that case, we will use of which. And we will say, yesterday, my friend and I caught a lot of fish, the biggest of which was 20 pounds. The biggest of which, the biggest of the fish that we caught. The biggest of the fish that we caught. Good. So now I hope you will not put of which anywhere in a sentence where you cannot relate it to something specifically that goes with of. So that you don't say, as in this first example here, after a week, he started begging and sending people to beg me to come back, of which I refused. No, that is not correct. There is there's no referent here for of, because you don't refuse of things. You refuse things. Okay, good. Now let's move on to another word that many people sometimes misuse. I'm talking here about both or both of. So take this example, which is wrong, of course. The first example here is wrong. If the both of them say no, it's automatically 20% off your mark. This is wrong. You don't say the both of them. You say both of them. So You say, if both of them say no, it's automatically 20% off your mark. It's correct. You say both of them, not the both. No, 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 no. You say both of them. We use both to refer to two things or people together. We actually use both to refer to two things or the two people together. For example, Ayuk and Kenfak speak very good English. Are both of them teachers? Ayuk and Kenfak speak very good English. Are both of them teachers? Okay. Or you can say, is it Ngu or Mvogo coming here tomorrow? It's both of them. Or you just say both of them. Who is coming here tomorrow? Ayuk or Tabe? Both of them. That's an answer. It's correct. It's sufficient. It's meaning all of them, the two of them. So both those chairs are occupied, I'm afraid. So it means that the two chairs are occupied. You cannot use both if there were three chairs. If there are three chairs, you rather say all those three chairs or all those chairs are occupied. But if there are two, you can say both. Both those chairs are occupied, or both of those chairs are occupied. Both those chairs are occupied, I'm afraid, please. So can you look for another seat? Or another example, are both your parents going to Chile, or are both of your parents going to Chile? Meaning, are your mother and father going to Chile? Good. Now let's look at something else. Wrongly assumed verb agreement. And then another thing we'll be looking at will be the use of be plus past participle. Most often people wrongly assume that there is a verb completing another one which is actually absent. Like take this example where someone will say, may any parent who can and has given a stone as bread to his child be stoned to death. There are actually two errors in this sentence, and I will correct them as you see in the sentences that follow. Instead of saying can what? The can here, can is an auxiliary verb here, but it hasn't, because you cannot say can given. The only verb that appears here, which is an independent verb, is given. Has here, which accompanies given, is acting here as an auxiliary to form the present perfect. Okay, now when you say who can, so are you saying who can stone, who can a stone? No, no way. Can needs to be accompanied by a verb in the infinitive form, or which is not conjugated without to. Okay, so in the base form. So instead of saying this, you should say, may any parent who can give, okay, who can give and has given. So, and has given a stone as bread to his child, be stoned to death, be stoned to death. Remember that after be, you have to use a past participle. As in the case of it can be done, it can be said that, it can be done, it can be said that, be said, be done, be written, be read, be assumed. But I would even prefer in correcting this sentence up here to use a but, so that I would say, may any parent who can give but has given. Yeah, any parent who can give but has given. So instead of giving what he or she can give, they have chosen to give the wrong thing. So who can give? And actually, even so, there is still a problem, because in the second case, when you say who can give, we might have to replace, it's not even we have to replace who can give something better, okay? Who can give maybe, who can give bread, yeah, who can give bread. Good, this one is still okay, because you are saying, may any parent who can give what? Bread, but has given what? A stone. Just like you are saying, may any parent who can give bread, but has given a stone. But again, there is an implicit assumption here of understanding, which is not fair. So we can still further break down this sentence in the correction, so that we even have something like, may any parent who can give bread but has given a stone, then it becomes correct completely. May any parent who can give bread but has given a stone. Good. So this is going to be the absolutely correct version of this sentence. And that's why I'm going to highlight all of it now. So you see, may any parent who can give bread but has given a stone to his child, okay? Or has given a stone as bread to his child be stoned to death. Good. Now let's take the other examples where you understand what I mean by assuming that a sentence agrees with and it doesn't actually agree. Now let's take this sentence. The Northwest region has and will always be your home. It is wrong. Why is it wrong? It is wrong because you say the Northwest has what? Has be? It cannot be. Has will? No. So the correct one would be to say the Northwest has been and will always be. It has been and it will always be. So will always be, go together, has been, go together, then your sentence becomes correct. Another example, which is wrong, he has and will continue to support the rights of minorities. He has what? He has support. You cannot say he has support because we say has supported. So we cannot even say has continued because we have to say has continued. And we cannot say has will. Therefore, to make this sentence correct, because there is an assumption, a wrong assumption here that has is complete, which is actually not complete, or that he agrees with a certain verb which is not present, and has here is actually functioning as an auxiliary, you should then write the sentence as here. He has supported and will continue to support the rights of minorities. So now the sentence becomes clear, correct. Another example, which is wrong, you have and will remain my best friend. Wrong. You will remain my best friend is correct, but you have remain, no, cannot work. So we need a verb here to go together with have. So what do we say? You have been and will remain my best friend. Correct. You have been and will remain my best friend. Correct. Now let's look at being versus been. Been. Being versus been. I am writing this statement after been contacted by many regarding this subject today. It is wrong. After been contacted is wrong. The correct form of this sentence will be, I am writing this statement after having been contacted. After having been contacted by many regarding this subject today. Or you could even, another version that is also correct, or at least acceptable, would be, I am writing this statement after being contacted by many regarding this subject today. After being contacted, or after having been contacted by many regarding this subject today. Remember that being is the present participle of to be, and that been is the past participle of to be. Examples, he has not been happy since yesterday. He has not been happy since yesterday. I get elated when that song is being sung. I get elated when that song is sung, or when that song is being sung. And then the final thing we'll be looking at today is having versus having. Don't misunderstand me. Having gone to school is not the same as being educated. Wrong. the use of haven't here is completely wrong, because haven't here has got nothing to do with the verb to have. Instead, this sentence would be correct if you say, don't misunderstand me. Having gone to school, having gone to school, having, not haven't, having gone to school is not the same as being educated. Another example could be, you are a very brilliant person. This is a compliment. Having said that, I think you need to work on your anger. So it means you have some kind of emotional gymnastics to play, okay? Yeah. So you are a very brilliant person. Having said that, I think you need to work on your anger. You cannot put haven't here. It will be wrong, please. Note that haven is a noun, which means a safe or peaceful place. It has absolutely nothing to do with the verb to have. Haven has nothing to do with the verb to have. Yeah, of course, you can see that in terms of orthography, in terms of spelling, haven is actually the verb to have plus an N at the end, but they don't have anything in common. They don't have anything in common in terms of meaning or even in terms of origin. So let's have some examples of haven't now, because now it's clear that in these two examples up here, only having can go. But now let's look at some examples that can go with haven as a noun, meaning a safe or a peaceful place. One example, Cameroon used to be a haven in the Semak region. Cameroon used to be a peace haven in the Semak region. That is no longer the case because of the Boko Haram insurgency in the far north regions or in the northern regions, because of the Anglophone War. Or the garden was a haven from the noise and bustle of the city. The garden was a haven from the noise and bustle of the city. They wanted to provide safe havens for the refugees. They wanted to provide safe havens for the refugees. So that was all I had prepared for you today. I hope you did enjoy the lesson, and please keep your comments coming, your suggestions for more things to clarify, for more corrections to make. And of course, please do remember to subscribe to this channel and to click on the notification button so that when a new video is uploaded, you will be made aware of. You will be reminded. And please talk to your friends, talk to your colleagues who might be interested in the content produced and provided on this channel. See you shortly. See you next week for another video.